shouldn't even take any time to vote. And Corey, a few weeks ago, you had Alondes Williams from Wake Forest as your player of the year, but you now agree with Coach Davis.
I do, Dre, and the reason being, of course, Armando being my guy, I didn't want it to be a personal thing. I've been highly critical of him throughout the season, but he has deserved everything that he's gotten, the ACC Player of the Week, and I honestly believe he is the ACC Player of the Year.
Putting up monster numbers for the Tar Heels. We are underway here at the Dean Dome. The Orange come in 15-14 on the season, 9-9 in league play, and that didn't take long. Cole Swider knocks down a three.
And Cole Swider already with more points in this game than he had against Duke last time out.
The Syracuse team, of course, that plays the 2-3 zone. They like to shoot the three themselves. Leaky Black, one of the senior night honorees. Although let's get back to that story a little bit later. But he was out there getting honored before the game as we take a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Degree. The Boeheim brothers, Joe Girard, Cole Swider, and Frank Anselm. In for the injured Jesse Edwards, out for the season with a broken wrist. And for Carolina, this being senior night, Ryan McAdoo, the son of the Hall of Famer Bob McAdoo, getting the start here tonight on senior night. Pretty good minutes so far for the Orange, wouldn't you say?
And you see Cole Swider going, and we get an opportunity to see our guy Bob McAdoo, but Cole Swider went at Ryan McAdoo on the first play of knocking down the three, and McAdoo having to take on that matchup as Swider gets his second ball.
A minute and 10 seconds in, it is 7-0 for Syracuse. And
just like that, Caleb Love is up, headed into the game, playing 40 minutes the last two games, and he's the guy that didn't start in place of McAdoo.
Leaky Black playing after hyperextending his right knee on Saturday. No structural damage, practiced yesterday, and he is in there and trying to make a play inside for Bacot, but it's deflected out of bounds as Hubert Davis now sends Caleb Love into the game. First year at the helm of the program for Hubert Davis. As Ryan McAdoo gets a warm round of applause as he comes out. Meanwhile, Jim Boeheim in his 46th season as head coach in Syracuse. That doesn't count the years he was an assistant coach. That doesn't count the years he was a player. I'd say he's put down some roots in Central New York.
I would agree, but I'll tell you this, Dan. I had the pleasure of meeting Julie Boeheim today, and I was a little more excited to meet her than even Jim Boeheim.
She is here and sitting right behind the bench, the wife of the head coach. And the Orange just keep adding on. Jimmy Boeheim, and Mom loves it. Her husband coaching, her two sons playing, and a 9-0 lead here on the road for the Orange.
And this is the best possible start for Syracuse. Got off to a slow start against Duke on their home floor last time out, but they have returned the favors. R.J. Davis will knock down the first field goal for the Heels.
Joe Girard pushing the pace. Swider trying for another three, and the Orange can't miss right now.
Dan, I introduced Cole Swider to Andrea before the game, and I told him this is who will be telling stories about you if you do something today. And he's gotten off to a pretty good start. Dre might be talking about Cole as we go on.
Swider's got 8 of the 12, and the Orange are 5 for 5, Dre.
Well, Corey, you're talking about Cole Swider, and actually Coach Boeheim had a conversation with both him and Jimmy Boeheim after the Duke game, told them to be confident. They're not going to see a front court like the one that Duke has. He wants them to play with confidence, and Cole Swider has done that.
And speaking of confidence, that'll probably give Caleb Love some high degree of difficulty on that three.
Dan, I'll tell you what, Caleb Love is similar to me. There's never a time where he lacks confidence.
I'm glad you have good self-awareness. Buddy Boeheim and the Orange still haven't missed. They are 6 for 6 to start the night.
And I'll tell you, on Saturday, Duke got off to a start very similar against Syracuse, where they were perfect from the field, made 7 of their first 8 three-pointers, and Syracuse must have taken some lessons from that.
Hey, Armando Bacot, great move, couldn't finish it. Comes up with the offensive rebound and is headed to the line.
Syracuse off to a great start. Joe Girard pushing the tempo and then finding Cole Swider. Talk about shooting with confidence, lining it up, knocking it down. And then you see Jimmy Boeheim on the penetration, finding his brother in the corner. And we know Buddy is good from three.
And at the line, ACC Player of the Year candidate Armando Bacot, who is just having a great year, better than 16 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, 52 blocks, shooting 59% from the field. looking stroke on those 2 free throws. So Symir Torrance, a backup guard for the Orange, is not on the trip. Suffered a concussion in the Duke game, so they are thin. If Joe Girard has to come out for any reason, they don't really have an option as a backup point guard. It'll be Buddy Boeheim or Jimmy Boeheim or Cole Swider bringing up the ball.
And I'm glad you said Joe Girard, because, of course, Buddy Boeheim, who leads the ACC in minutes, rarely comes out of the game.
Yep. A good start for the Orange here in Chapel Hill. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by LinkedIn. Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Real Cowboys get customized cars.
He's a great defender, but he turns his head, and Buddy Boeheim takes complete advantage. Just that split second where you turn your head as a defender, and it leads to a made 3 by Buddy Boeheim. He is leading Syracuse this season, knocking down big shots, and all he needs is a second, Corey, to get open.
And Dre, when you consider Buddy Boeheim, and he always gets the attention of the best defender on the opposing team, he has to find, open opportunities as such to be able to get his shots off. Mistake by Leaky Black on that possession.
Jim Boeheim was telling us before the game how tough the other teams are guarding Buddy Boeheim this year, as Leaky Black answers with a 3 of his own. Jim said Buddy has only had 8 open threes this year because they face guard him, they don't help off him. That would qualify as number 9, though, right? The one that he hit down the other end?
It's not wide open, but we'll say open. It's definitely open for Buddy. He's not used to seeing that much room.
Meanwhile, Leaky Black, not known as a shooter, looking for his offense a little bit more the second half of this year. He's now made 12 of his last 22 threes.
Well, Leaky has picked the offensive production up, and Cole Swider giving that up.
Shot clock was running down. Jimmy Boeheim can't knock down the 3. Heels in transition, but the Orange get back. Hubert Davis feels he's got a variety of options to make plays from the free throw line, from the ACC logo. Caleb Love with his second step back 3 of the night, and this one won't go.
And that's one of the things Hubert Davis also talked to us about with shot selection for Caleb Love. We saw him knock down the step back earlier, but I'm not sure if that's the shot that they want on that possession.
Great no-look feed from Joe Girard into Frank Anselm.
Right now, Armando Bacot not been much involved in the offense thus far. And one of the things he told us earlier today was teams prepared for him differently than they did everyone else.
How about Brady Manek, a 39% three-point shooter, grad transfer from Oklahoma, another one of the senior night honorees tonight.
But if that's how you get Bacot open, you've got to knock down some threes to loosen that pressure on the inside, because Syracuse definitely can't afford to give up those.
All Syracuse early, but Carolina getting back into it, and now an offensive foul on Girard.
Great ball movement is always going to be important for the Orange, and Joe Girard with the look away. Beautiful find to Frank Anselm, and the look away freezes Bacot, who was actually running out to the perimeter to pick up the next shooter. And right now the officials over reviewing an elbow from Joe Girard, caught R.J. Davis in the face as he went past.
He's saying it's a flop. You could tell from the sign and from what Girard is saying. He believes it's a flop. Meanwhile, Davis is bleeding. Looks like he's bleeding from his nose. And just an offensive foul. Nothing extra there. No flagrant on Girard. Girard again, and everybody for Syracuse, really, it's important that they keep them out of foul trouble because they don't have a lot of depth.
As you see, as Girard goes past, the left elbow comes up, making contact with the face of R.J. Davis. And I agree with the officials. That is a basketball play. In incidental contact, he gets the offensive foul. But as you mentioned, there's the lack of depth in the backcourt for Syracuse right now. So one of the things they have to be sure of is Girard doesn't pick up another foul and have to play tentative for the remainder of this first half.
We will likely see Benny Williams and Bourama Sidibe off the bench for the Orange. But again, Girard, the only real point guard, scholarship point guard on the roster right now, with Symir Torrance unavailable. Bacot. Davis with a good look. Bacot all over the offensive glass again, rejected from behind by Buddy Boeheim.
And a great job by Syracuse really coming in and crowding Bacot once he got the offensive board.
Swider feeling it early, and why not? He's into double figures already with 11.
No hesitation at all from Cole Swider, and that conversation with Jim Boeheim definitely built some confidence in Swider. You see he's come out looking to fire early.
After having a quiet game, as you mentioned, against Duke. Duke just picked Syracuse apart early in that game Saturday and wound up winning 97-72 over the Orange. That's good stuff by Love on creating the space, but he couldn't knock down the shot. And Girard turns it over.
And one of the things Armando Bacot told us, that teams guarded him differently, had to prepare for him differently. You see, even when he gets the offensive rebound, look at all the orange jerseys surrounding Buddy Boeheim coming in with the block. So his defense, even when they give up an offensive board.
Good ball movement by the Heels. Manek, he loves that spot deep in the corner, does not get the roll. Manek, by the way, the three that he hit tonight, the 301st in his career. The three that Buddy Boeheim hit tonight, the 300th of his career. And Jimmy Boeheim a little bit too high for Frank Anselem. Was it deflected? It was not in the ruling of the officials. It's back over to Syracuse. You know, we talked about Leaky Black and senior night. He went out there and got the jersey and families here and all that, but he can come back.
He can come back
if he wants.
He used that COVID year and come back, and I believe it would be a great opportunity for Leaky Black to come back, and especially when you consider the improvement, the shooting wise, and of course we know he's an elite defender as how he's been as of late.
They didn't want him to miss out on the moment tonight, so they said, you know what, go out there. We'll figure out the other stuff later, but go out there and enjoy the night. You've earned it. Swider, his first miss. Love puts it on the deck. Nice look in the corner. Black is open. His second three of the night. And what an ovation he got. How popular is this guy in these parts?
Well, after many of these fans saw him go down in the first half at NC State on Saturday, there was question whether he would play tonight. So happy to see him back on the court.
Buddy Boeheim has gotten better and better at that over the last couple of years. His coach, who's also his dad, says he's the hardest worker he has ever had in the program.
And for Buddy's career, I've talked about how he takes advantage of smaller guards. That time he did it to a bigger player against Leaky Black.
Brady Manek, what an addition he's been to the Tar Heels this year. Hey, we got some offense, my man.
Absolutely. No defensive juggernauts on the court tonight. This is about offense. We can see a game in the 80s, in the 90s, and of course, Roy is loving it. He likes to see him put up big numbers.
A lot of people assume coaches are looking at plays on that clipboard.
Just like they assume they can't afford great insurance. But State Farm...
Sons Corey and Bryce, of course, Fran McCaffrey at Iowa with sons Connor and Patrick. And as we have discussed, Jim Boeheim with Jimmy on the left, the grad transfer from Cornell, and Buddy on the right. And it is a special situation. I think Mom is probably the happiest of the four of them with how this has worked out. But inside, you know, Dad he's glowing too. Inside,
he has to be. And we talked a lot about the fact he says he was 56 years old when he had an 18-month-old and twins at home. And he says, so this is the easy part, getting a chance to coach them now. That was the tough part.
And Jimmy has really had a good year, averaging better than 13 points, 6 rebounds per game. A different kind of a player than Buddy, but he's been a very important player for Syracuse this year. Buddy trying to create with a shot clock running down. Ball's loose. Manek on the deck. Here come the Heels. Huff Johnson into the game. And he was terrific Saturday against NC State. He got a lot of the minutes after Leaky Black was injured.
Well, Leaky Black back on the floor, fortunately, for North Carolina, and he is their best defender, so he takes on the role of guarding Buddy Boeheim. And oftentimes, the only thing that can be good defense is great offense. The 1-foot step back by Buddy, and that's really where Jim Boeheim talks about how much work Buddy has put in, especially when you're going to be guarded differently by opposing teams. You have to have counters to each and every move, and you see Buddy's got a lot of tricks in his bag.
Bacot back of the line. He spends a lot of time there with how active he is in the offensive glass. Splits a pair, and Carolina, which was down 9-0 to open the game, is back within 1. Rama Sidibe and the freshman Benny Williams with the ball in off the bench for the Orange. Sidibe picks it up and drops it in. Benny Williams, not a lot went right for Syracuse Saturday against Duke, but Benny Williams had by far his best game, 14 points and 6 rebounds.
He really was, and Jim Boeheim was pleased with that performance, and Benny's minutes have been up and down, a lot having to do with his practice habits. And Coach Boeheim wants to see him play harder, but he really showed up for them against Duke. As did Sidibe. 11 points for Sidibe, a season high for him.
And playing on a knee that, isn't 100%. Bacot sneaks behind Sidibe in the middle of the zone. Jim Boeheim won't like that. Gerard off to Williams. One-on-one, the jumper over Manek. And now Carolina looking for its first lead of the night. Love. Puff Johnson on the offensive glass. And he is rewarded with a trip to the line.
Hard to lose the biggest guy on the floor, but Syracuse lost Armando Bacot as Leaky Black cuts through. Benny Williams does not get back down in time as the ball reverses sides of the floor to take away the pass to Bacot. And that's honestly the issues that Jim Boeheim has had with Benny Williams. It's not always been about going in and scoring. It's been about losing assignments defensively. And you see Williams checking out of the game, having a conversation with associate head coach Red Autry on the sideline.
Yeah, you go to Autry class when you mess up something at the defensive side of the floor, right? Yeah. Class is in session with Adrian Autry. He knows the system as well as anybody. Both of these programs, all of the assistants, of course, went to their respective institutions.
And head coaches.
Yep. Yeah.
A rare.
That goes without saying.
A rarity.
Yeah. And a 5-second call.
Now that's a surprise. That's not something I thought we would see in this game. 5-second calls or shot clock violations. I'm not sure anyone expected to see those, and Jim Boeheim definitely thinking that's the quickest 5 seconds he's ever seen.
Tied at 24, 11 minutes in. Dan Schulman, Corey Alexander, Andrea Carter here in Chapel Hill. Good ball movement. Black at the elbow. Tries to thread the needle into Bacot. And that is going to be a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it with Carolina. Well, I'll tell you, Bacot doesn't care if he's got 2 guys around him, 3 guys around him. He's going to try to get that ball up to the rim and make something happen.
You do remember who he told you his trainer was, correct?
You?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't turn down shots.
All right. The Richmond Roots run deep. Boy, speaking of deep, a deep one there for Caleb Love.
Yeah, and again, back to shot selection. I'm not sure if that's the shot necessary on that possession for Caleb Love. And of course, shooting over 40% in this building on the season from 3.
Little brother to big brother, but Jimmy misses the 3.
Now this is where you like to see Caleb in attack mode.
Out of bounds to the Orange. Coming up next on ESPN, how about this one out of the Big 12? Number 3, Baylor. After their win over Kansas, they shot up the rankings, moved up 7 spots. They are number 3, and they are in Austin to take on number 21, Texas. Should be a lot of fun. I
was shocked to see Baylor bypass Duke. Duke went from 7 to 4 with the top 6 losing, and Baylor goes from 10 to 3. Shocking on that one.
What a crazy Saturday it was with the top 6 ranked teams in the nation all losing. All on the road, mind you, and most of them the really good teams. Well, that's why we love college basketball, right? You never know what's going to happen.
You know, it shouldn't be shocking because you did the Baylor game and I did the Duke game. That's probably the reason why Baylor got the nod.
I don't think it works that way. Manek, little shot fake, little pass fake, everything but the finish for Manek. And then some miscommunication, but deflected out of bounds by Love, so it will belong to Syracuse when we come back. You're watching the ACC on ESPN.
First black student athlete to be given a scholarship at Syracuse. His birth name was Webb, but after his mother remarried, he took his stepfather's last name. After graduation, Sadat Singh played for the legendary Harlem Wrens, and in 1943, he joined the Tuskegee Airmen. In an interesting twist of fate, guys, it took 13 years for the 'Cuse to offer another black player, and in 1956, Syracuse was poised to start 3 black players, but at the time, it was frowned upon to have more black starters than whites, so one player refused to play on that condition, and that was NFL icon Jim Brown. Wow. Can you imagine the fate of Syracuse basketball history had Jim Brown played?
Of course, went on to be as good a running back as the NFL has ever seen, and also was an incredibly good lacrosse player at Syracuse as well.
Yeah, regarded as the best lacrosse player of all time.
Yeah.
And of course, I think the best running back of all time. And I believe Jim Boeheim did play basketball.
Tied at 24 here in Chapel Hill. North Carolina 21-8, 13-5 in the league. They will finish up the regular season Saturday at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Mike Krzyzewski's last game at Cameron, as Leaky Black is forced to call a timeout. The old Syracuse trap in the corner. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. 7 minutes left in the first half, all tied up.
People today, they could spend half their lives over 50, which is great, but it's gonna take some planning.
What can you do for me?
So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP, to help your money live as long as you do. The money you earn, the money you splurge,
I'm going in,
and the money you save.
I just bought that.
Huh, I just sold that.
That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Well, we mentioned Mike Krzyzewski and the game Saturday night. Carolina at Duke, 5 national championships, 3 Olympic gold medals, 9 national players of the year, 12 Final Fours, almost 1,200 wins, and he will walk onto the court at Cameron as the head coach of the Blue Devils for the final time on Saturday. You saving up to buy some tickets?
No, I'm going in your suitcase.
Oh, okay. They are going for thousands. Oh, there's going to be a discussion now. They're going to have a look at it. Did that shot beat the shot clock?
I tell you what, but that's how well Leaky Black has been playing and shooting the basketball, even from about 30 feet. With the shot clock going down, he drops it.
I don't think so. No.
Well, it may not count in the scorebook, but it counts in Leaky Black's mind. And right now, he's thinking, hey, I've knocked down 3 threes in this game thus far.
And no basket. As mentioned, if you want to go to the game on Saturday, you better dig into your pockets a little bit. The cheapest ticket, not cheapest pair, cheapest ticket on the secondary market is $2,900. They go up to $75,000.
But 4 tickets were sold for $1 million in an auction this summer. And again, so the $75,000 is a bargain compared to that. The V Foundation, $1 million donation.
Amazing.
For 4 tickets. And again, but again, the last time to see, in my opinion, the greatest coach in the modern day era in his home is worth it.
We were talking about before the game, Mike Krzyzewski has not won ACC Coach of the Year since 2000. Now, a lot of that has to do with sometimes the award goes to the team that kind of exceeded preseason expectations. He's obviously always got a lot of talent, so you don't tend to win that kind of an award when you've got the talent that he brings in as Puff Johnson ties the game. There have been 12 different coaches who have won ACC Coach of the Year since the last time Mike Krzyzewski won.
But he's also getting Michael Jordan treatment. When you're the best in the game, they often overlook you and move on to who was second best that season.
Good defense by Love. Jump ball. And Buddy Boeheim gets it back. Shot clock. They're going to reset it. They just put it back to 30. Doesn't matter. As Swider lays it in. He's got 15, by the way, tonight.
Well, the clock got stuck, though, after scramble and getting the basketball, the shot clock never moved from 30. And so I'm assuming the clock didn't move as well. And so the officials have to go over and check and see how much time should actually be on the clock.
And while they take a look, let's look at an upcoming Sonic blockbuster, and it is the game Saturday night we were talking about, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Mike Krzyzewski, 42nd year as head coach at Duke. Hubert Davis, first season as head coach at Carolina, but of course 9 years as an assistant and 12 years playing in the NBA as well. My friend, it is going to be a scene 8 miles down the road.
I tell you this, and you were here for the first matchup between the two of them in a game that was lopsided. Duke jumped off to a 33-8 start. I don't believe we will see Armando Bacot on Paolo Banchero to start the game. I think that will be a big change. I don't think that's breaking news for anyone, but that will not be the matchup to start the game.
Yeah, they do have matchup trouble. They had matchup problems in that first game. Roy Williams is in the house tonight. He told us he does not plan on being at Cameron for that game, and he didn't say it in any kind of a, in any way at all. But he does not plan on being there tonight, and it's going to be a very special night. Dozens and dozens and dozens of former Duke players who played under Mike Krzyzewski are expected to be in the building on Saturday.
Last number I heard was 80 players would be in attendance. 80 former players for Coach K would be in attendance, and of course a lot of those players all-time greats throughout the ACC.
And they took 6 seconds off the clock from 5:38 down to 5:32. So Carolina ball, the Orange up by 2. Realistically, you got to believe if Syracuse is going to make the NCAA tournament, they're going to have to win out in Brooklyn. Now, if they win this one and beat Miami, and then they look like they're going to play Florida State in their first game, then they could get Duke, but do they have to go even further than that to have a chance to get to the NCAA tournament?
I believe at this point they're going to have to win the ACC tournament in order to get there, and that would mean winning 4 games in 4 days. But we've seen that happen before in Brooklyn.
Loose ball bounces to R.J. Davis, who puts Carolina on top. Fans coming back to life here in Chapel Hill. You know, Davis quietly 13 a game at a 40% three-point shooter. Ball deflected into the backcourt. Again, good defense by Leaky Black. A good offensive player in Buddy Boeheim. Advantage Leaky on this one. In transition. And a foul. Talking about Brooklyn, if the season ended today, here's how it would look. Duke is the 1 seed at the moment. They can clinch the 1 seed if they beat Pitt tomorrow night. Right now, Carolina's the 3. They get a double bye if they win tonight. And again, Syracuse, Florida State right now would be in the 8-9. How about the tantalizing possibility of Virginia and Virginia Tech playing each other in Brooklyn? That's always a good matchup.
It's always a great matchup between those two teams, as we saw a couple weeks ago, and a beautiful find from Leaky Black to Brady Manek cutting along the baseline. And right now, Carolina moving very well offensively, getting the crowd back into this game.
You know what Brady Manek is, Corey? He's an excellent cutter.
You know what? That is a great point. You sound like you cut at some point in your basketball day.
No, I had guys cut behind me. That's how I know. No look pass. Again, Love to Manek. Five-point lead for North Carolina. Caleb Love and Brady Manek connecting, and it's going to be all about our guy, Corey Alexander, when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's.
assuming all NBA players want rings. It's like assuming State Farm doesn't have great rates.
Why do we have coasters if nobody gonna use them?
I had a year to come back, but I put my name in the NBA draft, and the rest is history. So my senior night, I actually didn't get a chance to play, but I do remember it very well.
Dan Shulman, Corey Alexander, Andrea Carter here at the Dean E. Smith Center in Chapel Hill. Carolina, which trailed 9-0 to open the game, now up by 5. Jimmy Boeheim working hard, but can't score over Brady Manek and Puff Johnson. 3.5 to go. We're getting near the end of the regular season, and Corey has come up with his All-ACC first team.
And we mentioned Armando Bacot as the player of the year, taking over for Alonnis Williams, who's been my player of the year all year long. Paolo Banchero, who of course will be rookie of the year. Cameron Gusty at Miami. The resurgence for Miami this year, the 6th year, a lot of that has to do with Cameron Gusty. And Dane Goodwin, the most consistent player for Notre Dame this season, who may end up finishing 2nd in the ACC.
You'll get some pushback from some people.
I'm used to it.
You don't mind that, yeah.
You know, I don't care about that.
Manek, no. Great tip there by Bacot with a left hand. Down the road in Durham, they feel that Mark Williams, Wendell Moore Jr. should get a lot of consideration. I think the folks in Blacksburg will talk about Keve Aluma, and there are others. I think your first 3, those are locks, right? Those are easy picks. After that, it really gets interesting.
I believe so, but when you look at what McGusty has done, and you're talking about the possibility of having a bye in the ACC tournament, as well as Dane Goodwin, especially when you think of where Miami and Notre Dame were picked this year, I believe those guys deserve to be on that first team.
All right, if Cole Swider scores 60 tonight, you're going to put him on the second team?
60 gets you onto the first team off one game.
Caleb Love. Cold tonight, 1 for 7, 1 for 6 from beyond the arc.
And made his first jumper. That's the thing. Came into the game, made his first shot, and hasn't made one since. And Cole Swider is putting so much pressure on this North Carolina defense, shooting the basketball. That's a heat check.
Yes, it is. And you know what? Still hot. He's got 21 to match his number with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
So you know what that means. Automatically have to shoot it next time you touch it, regardless of where you are.
That's page 1 of the Corey Alexander rules of basketball. Turnaround Davis. Yes.
I don't think this game will be about who can stop who. I think this one's going to be about who outscores the other team. And right now we're seeing great offense from both these teams.
Swider, you called it. And it's out of bounds to Syracuse.
This is when you are feeling yourself. Cole Swider got off to a great start. The first possession of the game, knocking down the 3, going to the mid-range. Ryan McAdoo, who got the start, also got 5 points early. Then getting an opportunity from beyond the arc. No hesitation at all for Cole Swider to start this game.
He's got 21 of their 34. He's matched his season high with 21 points. Joe Girard's only attempted 1 shot tonight. He made it. And hasn't been able to get good looks over R.J. Davis. Jimmy Boeheim, a good look. And Leaky Black runs it down. Bacot all alone. Third assist of the night for Leaky Black.
I tell you what, Leaky Black has been very good on both ends of the floor. He's had his hands full dealing with Buddy Boeheim, but offensively, he's given the Heels a boost as well.
Girard stops on a dime and knocks it down to quiet the crowd. Pull up on the baseline for Love, and this one will go.
Caleb Love getting to the mid-range. Great decision as they try to run him off the free throw line, but not over-penetrating and picking up a charge.
Love trying to handle Swider down at the other end. 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock in an up-tempo first half. Five to shoot. Girard looking for the foul call, didn't get it. And Carolina's got time. Love. And the first half will come to a close with Carolina turning an early 9-point deficit into a 5-point lead at the break, despite an incredible first half from Cole Swider. Andrea Carter is with Hubert Davis.
Coach, you all were able to get the lead with 5 minutes left in the second half. And
All facets of the game, diving on the floor after loose balls, and then finding his way along the baseline for not one, but two fantastic finishes.
41-36 Carolina. Again to begin the second half. Caleb Love on Cole Swider, who knocked down 6 threes. Excuse me, 5 threes in the first half. Joe Girard won't go down to the rebound to Armando Bacot.
We talked off air about would Hubert Davis make the switch, and now that Cole Swider had gotten hot, would they put Leaky Black, their best defender, on Swider, but he's going to stick with Boeheim.
Swider with more than half of the Orange's points in the first half of the game. Bacot the kick. Love. And the rebound down to Frank Anselm.
In the body motion and body language on that play, Caleb Love shied away from the contact. The reason why he didn't get a call on that possession.
Buddy Boeheim, yes, boy, he was backpedaling before that ball went through the net.
I'll tell you what, most of the times when Buddy lets it go, he always feels like it's good, whether it goes in or not. And that one you could see he knew as soon as he let it release his hand.
Averaging just over 19 a game on the season. Hardly ever comes out of the game, averaging 38 minutes a night. R.J. Davis, little bounce pass inside, and Swider has to foul Manek. Again, what's at stake in this one? Carolina comes in 21-8, 13-5 in the ACC. Right now, Joe Lunardi has Carolina in as a 10 seed, one of the last 4 byes. Generally speaking this year, they've won the games you thought they would win, and they've lost the games you thought they might lose, with the exception of the home court loss to Pittsburgh. These numbers are pretty solid, but you don't want to stumble.
But the number that's not solid is at the bottom, the 1-7 versus quad 1 teams, and that's really the number that throws up a question mark when you think about North Carolina in the NCAA tournament.
You know, there are some teams who have pulled off a couple of big upsets, but then have lost more games you thought they should win. It's kind of gone according to form for Carolina, but you're right. They've got a great opportunity for a quad 1 win Saturday down the road at Cameron as Joe Girard rattles home a 3, and this game is tied.
And then when you come into a game, you know the teams that are good defensive teams. You know when you play against Virginia, it's going to be a grind. Neither of these teams right now are great defensive teams, and both these offensive groups are playing as such. They know that they can get the shots they want whenever they want.
Yeah, about 8 minutes in, it looked like we might have a game up in the 90s, maybe even 100 for both sides. Davis. Another good feed, though, from Manek, kind of an underrated passer out of the post. Let's talk a little bracketology. It's March tomorrow, after all, and Duke, right now, Joey Brackets has them as a 2 seed. You would think a 1 seed is still in play for the Blue Devils, and then 4 other ACC teams in: the Irish, the Hurricanes, the Tar Heels, Wake Forest clinging to a spot, says Joe Lunardi. And don't sleep on Virginia Tech. You and I were talking about it before the game. The analytics, the metrics are pretty good for the Hokies, and they've still got a couple of weeks, a couple of opportunities to try to improve their fate.
And playing very well as of late. The win at home over Virginia, but going to Miami and picking up that quad 1 win on the road was huge for Mike Young and his squad.
Swider double teamed out on the perimeter into Anselm. Anselm just not a physically strong guy, so he elected to kick it out rather than go with Bacot. And it winds up with Love. Oh, and a late foul call. The hand went up late right there. Swider doesn't like it.
Well, Cole Swider attempted to foul Caleb Love getting out in transition, but I'm not really sure he got contact as he reaches all. He does get the arm on the other side. If I'm Caleb Love, I'd rather have the dunk. Forget about the foul. But Love mishandled the basketball, so he'll take the foul in that possession.
And from that angle, you could clearly see that he did grab him. Love stepping in this time. Now the kick to Leaky Black. Great look. Bacot couldn't finish.
But I love the no call on that one. Bacot initiated the contact. It was in the restricted area.
And Swider with a season-high 23. A nice feed from Gerard. First lead since it was 28-26 for the Orange.
2-minute scoring drought for North Carolina here in this second half has allowed the Orange to take that lead.
Black from the corner. Rebound to Gerard. Swider calling for the ball. Wouldn't you if you were him?
Absolutely.
Look at that follow by Bourama Sidibe, but he is down. The oft-injured Bourama Sidibe, the grad student from Mali who has had knee problem after knee problem. Hopefully this is not serious. What a play he just made.
You see Sidibe coming in from behind and that right ankle turning.
Yeah.
For Sidibe, let's just be thankful it's the ankle and not the knee.
The Capital One Saver Card, baby. 4% cash back on dining and entertainment.
Rewarding Chuck for dining and entertainment.
So he does. And I believe the great Dick Vitale would have said Mark Williams was awesome, baby, with his performance at Syracuse. 28 points and 12 rebounds.
He might have thrown a PTP'er in there as well, Trey. I know my Vitales. What a heartbreaking loss for Tony Bennetson, by the way, in the Matthew Cleveland miraculous turnaround three as time was running out.
It really was, but a great job by Leonard Hamilton and his staff, and of course going up and playing Virginia on that floor on senior night. Kie Clark and coming away with the win. Virginia lost 3 of their last 4.
Huff Johnson with the shot clock running down. The three won't go for him. And back come the Orange, who started the game up 9-0 and start the second half on a 10-1 run.
And look at this matchup. Bacot having to guard Jimmy Boeheim to keep Manek on the center. And you see the versatility of Armando Bacot to be able to step out and guard Boeheim, who's very good with the basketball in his hands.
Well, we mentioned Dickie V, and everybody's thinking about him as he continues to battle cancer and also unable to talk right now. Had some surgery on his throat, but getting stronger by the day. I text with him all the time. He's got a book out. All proceeds go to the V Foundation. The gala's coming up in early May down in Sarasota. Raises millions of dollars every year, and even though Dick's not with us courtside, he's still in our hearts and still doing great work for the V Foundation.
Absolutely, and Dickie V will always be in our ears. Of course, we talked earlier about my games against North Carolina, and I did play against Hubert. We actually beat North Carolina in Charlottesville, and Dickie V on the call. So it's always better when Dickie V's on the call in one of those games.
Hubert is senior in your freshman year, is that right?
That is correct, and they were number 4 in the country, very good team. And of course, they won the national championship the next year, so they just need to get rid of Hubert.
Davis for 3. Yes. You know, Hubert told a great story at shoot-around today. He said during the summer, some of the guys were saying, "Hey, coach, I'm going to work with this guy and that guy. I got a shooting coach. I'm going to work." And he said, "Shooting coach?" And Hubert's the nicest human being on the planet. And he wrote 43 and 42 up on the chalkboard. And the players said, "What's that, coach?" And he said, "Those are the top 2 3-point percentages in North Carolina history. I'm the 43 and Coach Lebo's the 42. He goes, "Shooting coach, you got him right here on the staff."
Absolutely. And again, when you've got a chance to get in the gym and work with Hubert Davis and, of course, the great Jeff Lebo, you need to make sure you take advantage of it.
I mean, Hubert could shoot, and he did it at the NBA level as well. 3rd all-time in 3-point percentage at the NBA level.
Back-to-back offensive rebounds.
And they couldn't convert on the alley-oop.
They just mistimed on that one. Bacot was already in the air before the pass arrived. But you can feel this building wanting to get involved, ready to cheer on their team. I'm not sure what the wine and cheese crowd is, but they're not here tonight.
Jimmy Boeheim does everything right-handed except shoot jumpers and free throws. When he gets around the rim, usually uses his right hand.
Yeah, that's a tough bucket right there for Boeheim. 4 points for him. Was scoreless against Duke last time out after coming off a 27-point effort against Notre Dame, his Syracuse high.
Well, They tried again and can't get it to go again. A collision between Sidibe and Johnson. No foul call. And good to see Sidibe in the game after rolling his ankle like that.
And you would normally for North Carolina say don't make that pass, but it's actually there, just not being executed very well.
Buddy wanted the ball. Leaky Black not giving him a chance to catch it. Look at Leaky Black face guarding Buddy Boeheim all over the court. Swider with a tough one from the baseline. Tipped up and in by Jimmy Boeheim.
Now that's a play. Going over the ACC's leading rebounder by Jimmy Boeheim to come up with a bucket to put back to give Syracuse a 5-point lead. And Jimmy making his presence felt here as of late.
Manek, nice look to the corner to Black. Back to a wide open Manek. Boy, Jim Boeheim not liking that one bit. Wrong guy to leave open if you're the Orange. Pull up, Joe Girard. Carolina ball. Well, look at the lineup we've got coming your way on Saturday. The Blackhawks and the Flyers, 3 Eastern on ABC. The Sonic Blockbuster, Carolina and Duke Coach K's final game at Cameron. NBA primetime, the Warriors and the Lakers, and then UFC 272. No shortage of options on Saturday.
I know what I'll be watching Saturday.
The one that I'll be doing?
The one that you'll be doing. I think I have to work Saturday at some point, but don't worry, I'll be in front of the TV checking you out.
You think you have to work? The boss is in the truck. You should know if you're working. Tied at 50, 12 to go. Jimmy Boeheim loses the handle, and it belongs to Syracuse. We got a good one. All tied up here with the Dean Dome. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's.
A boy went back to knock.
Blue Devils at Cameron Indoor Stadium as we bring you our draft conversations, brought to you by State Farm, and a guy you'll see Saturday night, sure to be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, Duke's Paolo Banchero.
And in my opinion, the #1 pick in the NBA draft, it should be that way in this June, simply because if you take Paolo Banchero in comparison to Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren, the other 2 players considered in that top 3, Paolo Banchero is NBA ready right now. I believe it takes a little time for Chet Holmgren to adapt to the physicality. Jabari Smith will be a perimeter player more so in the NBA, and it's going to take some time for him to get there. I think you could plug Paolo in today, and he could be productive in the league.
Ramo Sidibe with a couple of free throws. His 103rd game in a Syracuse uniform, and he will sit down to the freshman. Benny Williams will come in to take his place. It was just 3 short minutes in the first half for Williams, during which time he picked up a couple of fouls and got sent back to Coach Autry for a little lesson.
But I tell you this, the fact that he's back in the game in the second half means that Jim Boeheim's confidence is growing in Benny Williams. There are times where he may not have gotten this opportunity in the second half.
Davis from the corner. Great ball movement around the perimeter by the heels. Syracuse, even in most of the games they have lost, they have been right there until the last 2 minutes or 1 minute. The end of games have not been good for Syracuse, where their season might look a lot different than it does. Jimmy Boeheim, boy, that was a drive with authority, wasn't it? He knew where he was going.
And Jimmy's been much more aggressive as of late here, recognizing that he does have a mismatch with Bacot guarding him on the perimeter, and you see Jimmy starting to get downhill.
All 3 buckets in the second half for Boeheim, right around the rim. Looking for Manek at the elbow. Now he steps out. On the baseline. Bacot too strong. Loose ball out of bounds to Syracuse. Off Puff Johnson is the call.
Duff Johnson going hard after the basketball. And Benny Williams actually was the guy that took that out of bounds. A break for Syracuse on that possession.
Not reviewable until the last 2 minutes. Swider asking for a foul call. He's got 25.
But that magnifies it when you think about a missed call and then you've got a hot guy going down, knocking down a 3 on the next possession. That's really like a 5-point swing in Syracuse favor.
We passed the midway point of the second half, and the Orange giving the Tar Heels all they can handle. Manek tapped out by Bacot. How many times have you seen a Carolina big do that over the years?
I think it's part of their DNA.
Yep. So you can never question the effort of Armando Bacot on the offensive glass. And now Keith Kimball changed his call. Originally said Syracuse, now gives it to Carolina.
Cole Swider does not agree, nor does Jim Boeheim.
And I think Jim Boeheim has seen enough with them getting dominated on the offensive glass. And as you look at the replay of the out-of-bounds situation, so Frank Anselm is back into the game, the 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria, to try to clean things up in the glass. Turnover. Boy, and if Gerard could do it again, he had Swider all alone underneath him.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
And it might be a 5-point swing.
The missed opportunity on 1 in the 4 turns out to be damaging on the other end. Cole Swider playing hard, coming in, trying to get the block, but Armando Bacot just a little stronger, able to get that one to go down.
Jimmy Boeheim in trouble, gets it to Gerard, who turns it over and back on the Orange. And the Hall of Famer wants a timeout.
I tell you what, Dan, Armando Bacot stepping it up on the defensive end of the floor, sliding his feet. Mondo used to be a chubby little guy, and he's grown into himself. Look at him right now. Oh, isn't he cute?
Carolina center Armando Bacot has his 23rd double-double of the season. We have seen some strong plays from him tonight, including that huge slam through Cole Swider. And I talked to Armando today, and he said there might be some players that claim they don't think about being player of the year, but he told me straight up that is something he is going for. It is one of his goals. He knows it's one of the criteria to have his white jersey up in the rafters, and he told me that would mean the world to him.
And Mondo talked to us about it, and of course, oftentimes when I think about guys for different awards throughout the season, I ask them why they feel they deserve it. And Armando simply told us, teams have to prepare differently for me than they do anyone else. And absolutely is the case, especially when you consider him on the glass.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate at all in giving you an answer. He went after that question like he goes after an offensive rebound. Right?
He really did. He was prepared with his answer. And of course, you know, Mondo has grown by leaps and bounds throughout his time here at North Carolina. Came in with Cole Anthony, you know, much ballyhooed recruiting class, 2 McDonald's All-Americans, and it was some growing pains for him, but he's figured it out.
By the way, his 23rd double-double ties Bryce Johnson for the Tar Heel record. Leaky Black at the line. Tonight, the Tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball, continues on ACC Network, Episode 7 that looks at 1984 to 89. That's at 9 Eastern. Then at 10 Eastern, Episode 8 that breaks down 1990 through 1997. I'll tell you 2 things I know. This is a great series, great. And the other thing I know is Corey's not watching Episode 8.
Not watching it, refused to watch it. If I was healthy, it would have never happened. Although I have to say, my little brother, even though he's older than me, Randolph Childress did put on the best performance ever in ACC tournament history.
It was quite something, but it has been I've seen the first 6, and they are fantastic. An entire episode was devoted to the 1974 ACC tournament final between Maryland and State. Great ball movement. again, Manek, he's a great cutter. He's also a great passer.
He is that, and that's one of the staples of North Carolina basketball. Now, they've been different this year with Manek being more of a stretch four, but you always see the great interior passing between those two bigs going back and forth.
And most troubling for Syracuse, that is number 4 on Cole Swider, who's got 25 points tonight. And Jim Boeheim's going to take him out. Nope. He's going to take. He deked us there. He's taking Frank Anselm out. Even Swider thought he was coming out.
Yeah, Cole Swider, and it's a lot of time to trust Cole Swider, especially on that back line when you're dealing with Manek and Bacot, to play with 4 fouls. But when you're that hot, Coach Boeheim doesn't want to give him a break.
Trust the senior. Just over 8 minutes to go in what has been a fun and very competitive game. Haven't said Buddy Boeheim's name much the last few minutes. Leaky Black deserves a lot of that credit. Swider says, thanks for leaving me in, Coach. I got you.
You know, maybe there's a reason that guy's been over there for 46 years.
What a night for Swider.
And Cole Swider actually took contact on that one. That could have been a 3-point opportunity as well.
Manek. Boy, that ball kind of rolled off the heel of his hand, but guess who cleaned it up?
But that's what the byproduct of Cole Swider playing with those 4 fouls. He can't be physical with Armando Bacot on the offensive glass down there for North Carolina.
Jimmy Boeheim helping Gerard out a little bit with bringing the ball up from time to time. Buddy Boeheim. Again, good tough defense by Leaky Black. Davis. Bacot saves it. Davis in the corner. Pretty good look for a 40% 3-point shooter, but he airballed it. And again, Bacot out on the perimeter because he's guarding Jimmy Boeheim. Buddy. And Manek got a piece of that. Brady Manek definitely got a piece of that.
Cole Swider has been the guy for the Orange all night long. 21 the first half, 6 here, and I don't think he's slowing down.
So with Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more?
Yeah, home, car, motorcycle, all bundled together. Just like that.
Bonus now for the Tar Heels. Caleb Love at the line.
I was shocked to see Arizona still at 2 in the rankings this year. I was a little shocked to see that one, but again, when you think Gonzaga and Arizona both 1 and 2 going down, when they didn't move spots and everyone else behind them did, it was a little shocking. I honestly personally thought this should be the last week of the regular season for Coach K. The first 6 teams lost in front. Duke at 7 should have moved to 1. But I'm a little ACC biased, so I can understand why I could be wrong.
And with all those teams losing, certainly Duke, you would think, has a better shot at a 1 seed than they had a few days ago. Boy, Cole Swider couldn't miss if he tried right now.
Cole Swider having himself an evening, and he really has been the reason why Syracuse has hung tough in this game. I'm a little shocked by the results of this thus far.
Bacot runs it down. Crowd wanted a foul. Again, Syracuse giving the Tar Heels all they can handle through the first 34 minutes of this game, trying to pull off an upset. Love with 2 on the shot clock. And back over to the Orange. Love now 2 for 13 on the night. And again, Jimmy Boeheim bringing the ball up. Is this to allow Gerard to rest, or is this to make Bacot work harder?
Well, it's to make Bacot work harder and bring him away from the basket, but it's also to whatever you do at this point, just give it to 21 and get out of his way.
Remember, you said if he got 60, you'd put him on first team All ACC. What if he gets 40?
Maybe third team at 40. But a career high for Cole Swider, 32 points, still with 5.5 remaining. Remember, he's playing with those 4 fouls.
Manek got it back, his own miss. Syracuse ball. Boy, a couple of really good looks for Brady Manek.
But then I hear myself in my mind saying, get out of the way, Cole, get out of the way. I don't want him to pick up that 5th foul because I want to see just how much he can run this up.
Leaky Black on Swider. A guy having a career night against a tremendous defender. Wow, that's a tough one. That's a heat check right there.
Jim Boeheim in his ear, letting him know just what you said.
Davis, no. Bacot, foul.
Whenever you play North Carolina, one thing you have to be concerned about is the offensive glass. And Armando Bacot, Brady Manek continue to put the pressure on Syracuse around the rim time and time again.
You know how you know Bacot's having a really good season? You can say, well, you know, he's had an okay night. He's got 15 and 12, right? Like he hasn't dominated like he did against State when he had 28 and 18 on Saturday. But ho-hum 16 and 12 with 4 minutes and 50 seconds still to go.
Yeah, but 28 and 18 really wasn't dominating for him. He dominated Virginia with 29 and 22.
Yeah.
And then I believe he had another 28-point, 20-rebound game. So he's had a number of dominant performances thus far this year.
I did a little, you know, just looking around on mock draft sites. Didn't see his name anywhere. He plays in the NBA eventually, don't you think?
I believe so. The one thing that translates the most from college to the NBA is rebounding, and he's one of the best doing it.
We are tied again as Love fouls Buddy Boeheim on the perimeter. Just the 4th team foul on Carolina.
And also, the only mock draft you ever pay attention to is the one right before the draft.
That's right. As we mentioned, Syracuse has had some trouble late in close games. Yeah, they've won some, but they have lost 5, and a lot of times it's been in the last minute or two, just executing poorly right at the end of a game. They're 15 and 14, could be 18 and 11. I mean, if things go differently near the end of games, they would love to get this one.
Yeah, but also understand Syracuse is not a deep team, so their guys can get worn down by the end of the game.
Jimmy Boeheim tipped up, no good. Loose ball to the heels. Into Manek. The kick. Black for 3. Out of bounds to Syracuse. Corey, we have 8 players in this game who have already exceeded 30 minutes, 4 on each team.
And you can see, you know, North Carolina as well, guys starting to get a little worn down. They're waiting for this media timeout. Would have loved for that ball to go out of bounds 2 seconds later.
Boy, Buddy Boeheim working hard. He earned every inch of real estate there.
But if there's one guy that's used to playing heavy minutes and still been able to produce at the end, it's Buddy Boeheim, who leads the ACC in minutes per game.
A dozen now for Boeheim, who nearly stole it away. Carolina's gone cold the last couple of minutes. Manek, you know he's a great cutter.
I think I've heard that somewhere before. I think a great cutter told me that.
Does a great job moving without the ball. Gets 2-3 layups a night doing that. What a game. Buddy Boeheim again, and a foul. Tied at 67 with 3:01 to go here at the Dean Dome. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by LinkedIn. Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together.
There's my little nephew. He looks more like Dad.
Way top of the hour, Matt Meyer and Baylor taking on Texas.
Matt Meyer so versatile, can handle it out front, especially in that weaving action, capable of knocking down the 3 to pull up, and was on that glass with 10 rebounds in their last game.
That game on ESPN, then Texas Tech hosting Kansas State and Bryson Williams.
Bryson Williams, the most versatile forwards in the Big 12, but more importantly, he's first team all transfer portal. That beat can play.
And Corey, Andrea, back to you guys.
All right, guys, thank you. A good one here. Syracuse by a point after Buddy Boeheim knocks down the free throw. And he is pretty much automatic at the line, 88%. He's not even the best on his team. Joe Girard is at 90.
I tell you what, that's a luxury for Jim Boeheim to have, especially at the end of the games. If you have a lead, getting fouled and being able to send those two guys to the free throw line.
What would it mean, in your opinion, Corey, for Syracuse, a team that has not had the kind of year they had hoped to have, to walk out of here with a W?
I believe it will be momentum starting, and when you have Miami to finish the season, which could be a quality win, that is big, taking you into the ACC tournament in Brooklyn, thinking you can make things happen.
Bacot with another rebound. Into the chest of Sidibe, knocked away by Swider. Love for three. Yes. Girard does not need much space. Carolina might have caught a break, but that one didn't go down.
Caleb Love, the difference maker. You see what happens at UNC wins. 16.7 points per game, 43% from beyond the arc. Those numbers drop significantly in their losses, and a big bucket for Love on the last possession.
He's had a tough night tonight, but made a huge shot when it really counted moments ago. Shot clock a factor. Love again. Tipped out, but right to Buddy Boeheim. Boy, what a fun one this has been. Boeheim behind the back, trying to back down Love. Tipped up and in by Sidibe, and Syracuse back on top.
Sidibe has given the Orange great minutes in their last two games and coming up with a huge bucket.
Despite a knee that's not 100% and rolling his ankle tonight. Into the final minute of regulation in a one-point game. Who will take the shot for the Tar Heels? Shot clock running down again. Manek. Fade away. Short.
In North Carolina here, you don't need to foul, but you do have to get a stop. And right now, Buddy Boeheim will be the decision maker and the playmaker for the Orange.
One-on-one on the perimeter with Caleb Love. Swider lurking in the corner, guarded by Leaky Black. Clock at 6. Boeheim baseline, out of bounds. Orange ball with 4 to shoot.
And right now, if I'm Jim Boeheim, I may want to look at the timeout underneath out of bounds to see, make sure we get a good opportunity.
He's going to let him go.
Well, they've been over it before. They know exactly what play he wants to run. Just like that, There goes the timeout.
Saw something he didn't like. 15.9 to go. The Orange with the ball and the lead late here in Chapel Hill. We'll be right back.
As a struggling actor, I need all the breaks that I can get. At Liberty Bucciamos, you need. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Well, what a good first game of the doubleheader tonight. The second game should be just as fun. Baylor in Texas, down in Austin, coming your way as soon as this one is done. Welcome back to the Smith Center. Dan Shulman and Corey Alexander here in Chapel Hill. I'll take about a dozen more of these in Brooklyn next week. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. This has been fun. It's a point to where you and I are sitting there watching. It's like we're at home watching on TV.
Yeah.
How do we get to be here live?
I know.
We get paid for this thing.
You do?
Yeah.
This has been great. And again, a team in Syracuse that's had a tough year trying to pull off a road upset, give themselves a little bit of juice, no pun intended, headed into the postseason. And Carolina, we talked about it off the top. Are they in right now? You would think. Are they safely in where they can afford to stumble? Nobody knows the answer to that.
I tell you, a loss here would hurt the Tar Heels.
4 on the shot clock. And it's turned over in the corner.
And right now, if you're Hubert Davis, this is a time where you may want to consider making sure you get exactly what you want. Get the ball across half court then call your timeout to get your action corrected.
And that's just what he told Doug Shouse, the official. Remember, we talked about Syracuse not executing well late in close games. They just turned it over deep in the corner to give Carolina the ball back. You know, and a junior and a senior, guys who know each other as well as you can know each other, but Girard and Boeheim couldn't get it in.
But the one thing you do when you're tired is make mistakes, and I think oftentimes that's been the case.
There's the timeout. Wow, wow, wow.
Well, we've been waiting on this on Big Mondays all season long, haven't we, Dan?
And there are 20,000 folks here having a good time on senior night. Not having quite as much fun right now. Jim Boeheim.
But I tell you what, this is fun for Jim Boeheim. He loves being in the gym. He loves being in the moment and coaching this team, and more importantly, coaching basketball. 46 years on the sideline. He's seen environments like this many a time, and he keeps coming back for more. So I think this actually is fun for Boeheim.
Jim's wife, Julie Boeheim, here in Carolina, here in Chapel Hill tonight. Somehow hoping Syracuse can get a stop here and get out of here with a W. It's not quite March, but it will be very soon. Just over 3 hours from now, the madness is almost upon us, and this is a good appetizer for all the main courses still to come. Same five for the Orange. Same five. Nope, Puff Johnson is coming in. Johnson is in for Leaky Black for Carolina. That's the only sub for them.
Puff Johnson hit 4 threes against NC State in the second half on Saturday. He may be a guy getting a look.
10 seconds to go. Love for three. Yes! 7 seconds to go. 2-point lead, Carolina. Girard. Baseline. Got it! 1.4 to go. Woo! What a sequence that was. .4 seconds remain, and Carolina has the ball.
Caleb Love out of the timeout, stepping up, knocking down a huge three. We talked about his shot selection all evening long, and that was a great one from a guy who shoots over 40% on this home floor, and he makes the biggest shot of this game for the Hill.
There were some crazy finishes late in games in the ACC on Saturday. Carolina tried to find a way to score here and win it in regulation. Leaky Black to inbound. Davis. And overtime coming here at the Dean Dome. What a game. 40 minutes. Not enough to settle this one between the Orange and the Tar Heels. Overtime on the way.
Feel stuck with your finances? Move your money to SoFi and feel what it's like to get your money right.
I jump up on the stage and do my money dance. I throw some money up.
18 feet post, ISOs, etc. 21 points a game on the last 3 wins.
Over on ESPN2, Nigel Pack and Kansas State on the road at Texas
Kansas State's
Tech.
going to have a shot at winning this game against that relentless Texas Tech defense. Nigel Pack is going to have to put up a big number.
Back to Chapel Hill, Dan. Good one.
Welcome back to Shulman, Corey Alexander, Andrea Carter. This overtime is presented by SoFi, and overtime it is. After a Love 3 gave the Heels a lead, and a Gerard 2 tied it up. And here we go, tied at 73. And to Corey's point a few minutes ago, a lot of guys who have played heavy minutes. Overtime presented by SoFi. 3 Syracuse players have played every second of the game. And you can guess who. Buddy Boeheim, Joe Girard, Cole Swider. Jimmy Boeheim's played 37. And 4 Tar Heels have played at least 37. Swider having a career night. Tough turnaround. Not this time. 32 on the night for Swider. Bacot at the elbow. Manek on the baseline, and the Heels lead.
We've seen great interior passing from North Carolina all night long, and a beautiful find from Bacot to Manek.
A block by Leaky Black. Love. Another one. His third 3 late in this game, and the Heels lead by 5. Do the Orange have an answer? Gerard to a cutting Swider. No basket. The foul on the floor.
Hubert Davis told us when Caleb Love is taking good shots, he's a great shooter. Well, he's taken 2 very good shots as of late from beyond the 3-point arc and has knocked down both of them, and his team has needed them significantly.
Gerard trying to get by R.J. Davis. Can't do it. Forced into a tough shot. Boy, a couple of really good defensive stands here in overtime by Carolina.
You know, Dan, and that's the issue with North Carolina. When you play defense the way they have over the last few possessions in the end regulation, you wonder why they don't do this all the time. They could be a much better defensive team than they show all season.
Manek to Black. Black to Davis. Davis for 3. And the largest lead of the game for Carolina right now here in overtime. Let's take a look now at the Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, it's been 2 plays that got us into overtime. Caleb Love stepping up, knocking down a huge 3. But Joe Girard, not deterred, going to step back over top of R.J. Davis to knot it at 73 and to get us into this extra session where North Carolina has gotten off to a 8-0 start.
Carolina has now made 14 threes in this game. 14 out of 35, a 40% clip from beyond the arc.
Dan, the difference down the stretch and in overtime thus far has been North Carolina's defense. We're used to seeing them make shots and put up points. but defensively they have stepped up to the challenge as of late.
And what the Syracuse fans will be telling you is, and they couldn't get the ball in the corner. Right? They had the ball in the lead with 14, 15 seconds left, and they couldn't get the ball in.
That is a huge play, and more importantly, it gave North Carolina more time to get a good look at the end of regulation.
Mom's been on an emotional roller coaster in this game, sitting right behind her sons, right behind the Syracuse bench. And in a game that, I mean, it was never in hand, but it looked like they had a great shot at it. The ball in the lead with 15 seconds left, and now Carolina is out to an 8-point lead in overtime. And big picture again for Carolina. Can ill afford to stumble. They appear to be on the right side of the bubble, but you never know. You don't want to leave anything to chance. And you got to take care of your home court against a team like Syracuse, which is, you know, having a bit of a down year. This is a game Carolina is supposed to win to make sure these numbers trend in the right direction.
And I believe North Carolina has played this game with the sense of urgency necessary, but Syracuse has been up to the challenge, and we know that the Orange can be dangerous offensively, and the performance that Cole Swider has had, the North Carolina has been up to the test, especially here in overtime.
Three different Heels have scored in overtime: Manek, Love, and Davis. 4 Heels have at least 16 points tonight. Leaky Black, the 5th, he's got 8, but he's also got 7 rebounds and 6 assists.
Well, these are not the hands you want the basketball in. Sidibe having to make a play.
Swider is fouled. Let's take a look now at our net games, brought to you by SoFi, and it's been all Carolina. Syracuse has yet to score in overtime. Carolina has yet to miss. You can't ask Cole Swider to do any more than he's done for the Orange tonight.
Not at all. He has had a spectacular performance for him, career high for Swider, 33 points, but misses a free throw for a very good free throw shooting team.
Pressure by Syracuse. Love gets it over. Black. Manek. 22 for Manek. 7 assists for Leaky Black. Oh, wow. 36.
There's someone behind us yelled, no!
36 points for Cole Swider tonight.
And Cole Swider is upset about the fact that he missed a free throw, but he makes up for it on this possession. Great defense by Caleb Love, getting a hand up, but the 7th three-point field goal made for Swider on the night.
7 of 10 from 3, 14 of 20 from the field. A monster night for Swider to keep Syracuse within 6, 2:22 to go. I mean, just unbelievable.
I tell you what, there are a number of nights I got 20 looks at it. Never did I make 14. I'll tell you that right now, especially 7 for 10 from 3. Cole Swider is putting on a shooting clinic here tonight.
And he hasn't come out of the game. Hasn't missed a second. Same with Girard, same with Boeheim.
And playing with 4 fouls, that's one thing we have to remember, that Cole Swider, and he's played since the 8:14 mark of the second half with those 4 fouls. So give him credit for playing smart and staying out of foul trouble. And he actually gets a break because there could be some fouling going on from Syracuse right now, and you don't want him picking up that 5th.
Pressure from the Orange. The Heels get it over. Bacot. Which way is it going to go? It'll stay with Carolina.
And I like Carolina continuing to attack, especially when you break the trap. But the one thing you don't want to do is be careless with the basketball. Bacot a little too much mustard on that hot dog on that possession. And right now, I would rather see him take it strong to the basket.
Swider just came back in for the Orange. Jimmy Boeheim sits down. Benny Williams is in the game for Syracuse. Jim Boeheim wants pressure on the ball. drop back into the zone. 10 to shoot. Manek. Wow. A lot of contact, no call. Davis misses the three. Sidibe. Williams. Who will take the shot? Why not? But not this time for Swider. Look at Gerard get in there, but he turns it over, loses it out of bounds.
The most points ever scored by an opponent here at the Smith Center, 37 right now. Cole Swider with 36. But needed one on that last possession.
Jim Boeheim wanted a 5-second call. Leaky Black and the heels, they call a timeout. Couldn't get it in. Let's send it back to the studio.
Dan, I want to remind our audience right now, Baylor, Texas underway in Austin. That game over on ESPN News. When we have a final in Chapel Hill, we will go out to the Big 12 for that action coming your way. Currently, Texas Baylor. Texas up by 2 over on ESPN News. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Jim Boeheim, pleading with his players to do things the way that he wants them done. They have played well, they have fought hard, but they still have an uphill battle here in overtime.
Going onto the road, it's always going to take a little something extra to get the job done. And, of course, the handouts, there are gifts tonight on senior night. And Hubert's wife coming in with cookies. Leslie Davis handing out cookies, and maybe this has been the little something extra here on senior night that the Tar Heels needed.
Every little bit helps. Boy, a tough pass to get it in, and Swider just fouled out of the game. Cole Swider just fouled Caleb Love, and the hottest hand the Orange have is done for the night. It looked like it was almost just kind of a reflex thing, and then as soon as he did it, he second-guessed himself.
It really was, and he's played so long and honestly forgot about the fact that he had 4 fouls, so he could not be the guy to reach out and foul. But on previous possessions, Coach Boeheim had taken him out of the game, but they also didn't have that guy on the offensive end of the floor, and so therefore that's why you get him back in the game on defense. And a great night for Cole Swider.
And Lionel Simmons, visitor in the Dean Dome record of 37 points.
The L
Lives to see another day.
Yeah. Minute 30 remaining. There's still a lot of time. An 8-point lead is nothing when you consider the crazy things we've seen happen in the ACC even this weekend alone.
Jimmy Boeheim fouled on the drive.
Virginia had a 9-point lead with just over a minute to play in their game on Saturday against Florida State, and just like that, Florida State with Matthew Cleveland walks away with the win. So this game is far from over. Even though Cole Swider's on the bench, Syracuse still has enough firepower to get back in it.
Just a 61% free throw shooter, makes the first. A lot of tough losses for the Orange this year. Hit them both. Anselm for Sidibe. Carolina's got 1 timeout. Syracuse is out of them. Good job by Bacot to come back to the ball. Manek ahead for Love, and a good decision by Love. Don't need to force anything. The Boeheim brothers up top in the zone right now. Shot clock at 5. Love on the drive. Scoop. Got it.
And the first 36 minutes of this game were not great for Caleb Love. But the last 9 have been, when you consider the fact that he is getting the job done, making big shot after big shot at the end of regulation, as well as attacking the basket, and an opportunity for a three-point play here to make it a 3-possession game.
What a finish for him. 9-point deficit for Syracuse, under a minute to go. Missed 3 and out of bounds, back to Carolina. For some guys who have just given everything they've had for major minutes in this game. Guys on both sides.
The good thing this is a Monday game. By Saturday, these guys will have enough time to rest, but it was going to take a couple days to get their legs back.
Looks like senior night is going to end with a win here for Carolina. Love into some traffic now, off to Davis. The seconds ticking away. Carolina on its way to its 22nd win of the season. And this will clinch a double bye, a top 4 spot and a double bye for the Tar Heels in Brooklyn.
Hubert Davis told us earlier, there have been some good things happening for this program this season. And right now, North Carolina coming down the stretch seems to be putting it all together.
The final here at the Dean Dome in overtime. North Carolina 88 and Syracuse 79. Despite an unbelievable performance tonight from Cole Swider, Brady Manek had a big night, and Caleb Love got hot when it mattered the most for the Tar Heels to help them salt away a victory in overtime. Hopefully a sign of things to come the next week and a half or so with the ACC. For Corey Alex.